Thank you. I now call on Deputy Jim Daly. It's 5 minutes.
I welcome the opportunity to speak on this bill, and like the previous speaker said, it's a bill that we've been anxious to see come into the House for some time, and I have raised it on numerous occasions on the order of business and with the Line Minister to try and see if we could get it into the House. I particularly welcome it into the House. As a public representative, when I look back on my 3.5 years as a national parliamentarian, I think without a shadow of doubt one of the proudest achievements I have in that 3.5 years was the contribution I was able to make to the children's referendum. And the reason that I say that in relation to this bill is the children's referendum represented, huge milestone changes for a tiny minority of our population, children in state care, relative to the amount of children in the care. But they're hugely valuable, hugely vulnerable, and also hugely important people to take care of. And as a representative, if you find it within your gift to do something that can assist that tiny percentage of people for the betterment, well then your time here has been made all the more worthwhile. And likewise, to be able to make a contribution to this bill today and to ensure its passage through the House, again, it's a relatively, in the overall scheme of things, small number of people, and I speak in particularly in relation to the aspect of registering deaths abroad. It's a small number of people, but the trauma and the hurt and the grief that remains with those people, and when you meet those people in real life and have lost a son or a daughter, and I think in particular, and I want to put him on the record today, is the name of Colm Johnson, a 24-year-old young man with his life ahead of him from Bandon in West Cork, who was killed tragically in 2012 on the 6th of August abroad on a kayaking holiday. And to add to the grief and to the trauma that I can only imagine that his family, his dad Moss, his mum Anne and the siblings are going through, but that this state refuses to recognise not just alone their grief and their trauma, but that the death has occurred, is very hard for them to take. And when they bring that to you and explain the hurt that causes to them, and I know I speak for many parents of love who have lost loved ones abroad, and to lose a loved one in any circumstance is extraordinarily traumatic, but to lose somebody abroad, there's obviously an added drama and hurt and difficulty, and then that we as a state could further compound that by, I suppose, hindering the issues that have to be solved afterwards, and the obvious paperwork that has to be done by the state failing to recognise it. So it's a long overdue development, and I heartily welcome it. Ireland has changed and is continuing to change all the time, and our young people, the world has become a smaller and smaller place every year over the last 20 years, and people travel to far-flung destinations for short periods of time, whether it's on an adventure, short work placements, holidays, whatever the reason. Young people travel today. That's the world we're in. So I think it's time that we as a society and we as a state recognise that fact and put an end to any further injurious hurt that we will cause for families by refusing to recognise officially the death of their loved one. So it is to be welcomed, and it can't come soon enough in it. There's many other aspects of this bill, and again they're all mirroring changes in society. I particularly welcome as well the registration of the father's details on the birth certificates, and again in the typical family it's not an issue, but in the atypical family it can be a very big issue for people who do want to know their identity and who struggle to know whom they are, and when the state cannot answer those questions for them, yet the person sitting in the seat alongside them on the bus has all of these details to their hand. It is an injustice, and I'd like to see that corrected as well, and that we can afford to give people the information they seek and to tell them who they are. So welcome that particular development, and also of course the streamlining of marriages of convenience, as they're referred to, and for the state to be able to step in where there is a genuine and a sincere conviction held that a marriage is being undertaken, and that the vulnerabilities of somebody is being taken advantage of for immigration-related benefits is a welcome development as well. So in conclusion, Cathaoirleach, I welcome the bill, and delighted to have the opportunity to speak on it, and again to commend the Minister and the officials who've put this bill together. It's very welcome development for our society as a whole and our citizens living in it, albeit in small numbers, those who will benefit from it. it's a very, very important benefit for them. So, Cormagat, Cahill.